Hello from Portland. It's Wednesday, February 20th. I'm once again recording this vlog at night, although I've been trying to do it during the day. I just never seem to have time. And I would like to think I get more reflective and introspective at night, but mainly what I get is more tired. So I will really try to start doing this earlier in the day. I just finished a book I wanted to talk about, and it's called The Swerve by Stephen Greenblatt, and it deals with the work of an ancient poet and philosopher named Lucretius, who was in turn a follower of the philosopher Epicurus, whose philosophy was based on the idea of human pleasure and human happiness as the basic goal of morality and social order. The poem he's talking about, which has been hugely influential in the modern worldview, is called On the Nature of Things. And this is written thousands of years ago, and it basically postulates a universe not created by gods, but made up of tiny, indivisible particles that combine and recombine in all sorts of different types of matter all throughout the universe. It's a very, very modern worldview. It's sort of amazing to read it and realize that these were people just kind of guessing about the basic structure of matter, and guessing very, very accurately by the standards of the time. The worldview of the poem is not pessimistic, it's not nihilistic. It has this wonder and awe and joy about the universe. And this is a great quote. Stephen Greenblatt's describing the philosophy of Lucretius, and he says, "Wonder did not depend on gods and demons and the dream of an afterlife. In Lucretius it welled up out of a recognition that we are made of the same matter as the stars and the oceans and all things else. And this recognition was the basis for the way he thought we should live our lives." It's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, because I've been talking about moral foundations and different ideas about the basics of morality. And one of the ideas that keeps coming up is the idea of sanctity, or purity, which has been identified as more of a conservative moral foundation with which liberals are less concerned. I'm not so sure about that anymore, because I don't think liberals would necessarily use the word sanctity, but there is a feeling that there is something wondrous about human beings, about their capacity for thought and for love and for growth, and that has an intrinsic value and dignity and integrity that should be respected. And that idea, that sort of secular sanctity, is very important in the classical liberal view of ethics and morality. If you read my written blog, I tend to go off quite a bit about free speech and about efforts to not just disagree with, but to suppress or punish people for speaking their minds. And the reason I get so worked up about that is not just because I think free speech is an important political value. It is. It's because I think there is something sacred about the human mind, and something sort of obscene about trying to force someone to change their views, not through argument, but through some kind of intimidation or some kind of threat. I really do think it is, in some sense, miraculous that we can change each other's minds with words. We can't do it all that often, but it is possible that someone can look into a camera or type at a keyboard and come up with words that may reach someone thousands of miles away and make them think differently, make them change an opinion or revisit an assumption or question a fact. That entire process is amazing to me. And it saddens me when people turn to much less wondrous, much less amazing, and ultimately much less effective ways of changing other people's minds. And when you think about it, the fact that I am holding an electronic reader and reading a poem that was written thousands and thousands of years ago on papyrus leaves, that's a pretty breathtaking continuity of human thought. And that makes me feel good about being a human being. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.